King Charles, man who loves himself a squirrel and cannot abide a pen, became England's monarch the moment Queen Elizabeth died. But given that King Charles is 74, a young and healthy 74, but still, it's pretty inevitable that we'll see his son Prince William become the King of England in our lifetime. And, turns out, there's a detailed plan in place for when that happens, complete with its own codename. Fingers crossed that said plan isn't activated anytime soon, but here's what we know. In a turn of events that resonated deeply within the heart of England and beyond, King Charles III faced a personal and national challenge when he was diagnosed with cancer. The news, emanating from the venerable halls of Buckingham Palace, sent ripples of concern throughout the United Kingdom. The gravity of this revelation cannot be overstated. Given Charles's relatively nascent reign of just over a year, a period marked by the anticipation and hope of a new chapter following the long and storied reign of his mother, Queen Elizabeth II, the narrative of the British monarchy is rich with history and tradition, a saga that continued with Charles after the remarkable reign of Elizabeth II. Her tenure saw her navigating the British crown through the tumultuous waters of the 20th and early 21st centuries, including the epical moments of World War II, the Cold War, and the COVID-19 pandemic, to name but a few. Her passing in September 2022, at the age of 96, heralded Charles's ascent to the throne at 75. A moment both long-awaited and bittersweet. Charles's diagnosis came after a routine hospital visit for a benign condition, uncovering a more serious health issue that necessitated a withdrawal from his royal obligations to focus on treatment. This situation brings to the fore the meticulous planning that underpins the monarchy, with protocols such as Operation Menai Bridge ready to guide the nation through the potential transition of power, echoing the careful execution of Operation London Bridge upon the death of Queen Elizabeth. Plans for King Charles's death and state funeral are referred to as Operation Menai Bridge, named after a suspension bridge in Wales. And actually, there's a reference to it on The Crown during an episode about Charles's near miss with an avalanche. The scene in question involves the Queen's secretary briefing her on Charles and somewhat indelicately musing, "We have contingency plans in place for all members of the royal family." Menai Bridge is no exception. It's the code name for the death of the Prince of Wales. So yeah, these plans have been in place for quite some time. And while Menai Bridge is under lock and key, we have two things to go on. 1. The Guardian's reporting on the plans that were set in place following the Queen's death. And 2. The fact that we saw with our own eyes exactly what happened in the 11 days between Queen Elizabeth II passing and her funeral. What happens on the day the king dies? Arrangements for Charles's funeral started being planned pretty much right after he became king, at least, according to former Royal Protection Officer Simon Morgan. Unfortunately, as of tomorrow morning, planning for Operation Menai Bridge will start in earnest, Morgan told Today on September 20th, 2022, and added that even the king said in his acceptance that he will take this role for as long as life allows him to. He is 74 years of age. It's got to be in the back of your mind, and from the police, we've got to start planning again for the future. Operation Menai Bridge details haven't been leaked as of yet, but they'll likely be very similar to Operation London Bridge, the code name used for the Queen's death. Meaning that on the day King Charles dies, his family will be informed, followed by the Prime Minister, currently Rishi Sunak. News will then travel to Commonwealth countries and governments where the king is head of state, and finally the Press Association. When the Queen died on September 8, 2022, a source told The Telegraph that the king was adamant that the official statement must not be released until all members of the family had been informed. That was a father talking because he cares. That said, the Queen's passing was pretty widely known before outlets like the BBC reported on it. This was, in part, because Buckingham Palace had released a statement earlier that day saying, following further evaluation this morning, the Queen's doctors are concerned for Her Majesty's health and have recommended she remain under medical supervision. The Queen remains comfortable and at Balmoral. But no matter the order in which people find out, once King Charles dies, a note will be pinned to the gates of Buckingham Palace. Flags will also be lowered to half-mast, as they were for the Queen. Prince William's coronation won't happen for months after his father passes, but he'll be the new king the moment Charles dies. William will likely give an address to the nation that same day and will swiftly start meeting with government officials. Meanwhile, King Charles's body will be moved from Buckingham Palace's throne room to Westminster Hall, where he will lie in state, as we saw with the Queen. King Charles's funeral will take place 9 days after his death, and then he will be laid to rest in the royal vault in King George VI Memorial Chapel at Windsor Castle. Upon Queen Elizabeth II's passing on September 8, 2022, at the age of 96, Charles finally became King Charles III at the age of 75. However, his time to enjoy and implement his vision for the monarchy was immediately challenged by a health scare. Approximately a month prior to the public announcement, King Charles III was hospitalized for a procedure related to a benign enlargement of the prostate. This event, initially not a cause for alarm, took a serious turn when doctors diagnosed him with cancer, the specifics of which have remained private. This diagnosis has ignited widespread speculation and concern about his ability to fulfill his royal duties and about the future of the monarchy itself, the significance of the monarchy in contemporary Britain and the broader Commonwealth cannot be overstated. The Commonwealth, an association of 52 countries comprising approximately 2.67 billion people, represents about a third of the world's population. This vast network, largely a legacy of the British Empire, was meticulously maintained under Queen Elizabeth II's reign, who worked to ensure its cohesion and relevance in the modern world. However, the transition to Charles's rule has brought forth questions about the future of this relationship, especially given his less pronounced role on the global stage compared to his mother. Within the United Kingdom, debates about the monarchy's role and cost have intensified. The British monarchy, while ceremonial, carries significant financial costs for the state, from the maintenance of royal residences to the salaries and official duties of royal family members. In 2021, Forbes estimated the royal family's wealth at around $28 billion. A figure that has fueled arguments from Republicans and younger generations questioning the monarchy's place in a modern democratic society. These debates have been further inflamed by incidents of public discontent, such as protests against King Charles III. Highlighting the growing disconnect between the monarchy and parts of the British public. As King Charles III faces his personal health battle, the monarchy stands at a crossroads. The challenges ahead are not only about his health, but also about the institution's ability to adapt and remain relevant in a rapidly changing world. The future of the Commonwealth, the debate over the monarchy's role in the UK, and the public's perception of royal traditions are all elements that will define the next chapter of the British monarchy. His reign, though brief, is a chapter in a centuries-old narrative, one that may define the monarchy's role in the modern world. With the eyes of the nation and the Commonwealth intently watching, the unfolding story of King Charles III's reign and its impact on the tapestry of British and global history remains to be written, inviting reflection, debate, and speculation on what the future holds for one of the world's oldest continuous institutions. What are your thoughts on the future implications of King Charles's potential passing? If this video provided insight, please give it a thumbs up. Remember to subscribe and click the notification bell to stay informed about our discussions. Thanks for exploring this significant topic with us. See you in our next video.